Alright. So David, have you ever read something that like completely changed your opinion on a topic, or it was an op-ed and it was about, let's say, animal rights? Or you see a post and you're like, oh my gosh, where it's on like animal conservation or something, like an issue that really gets you going. Okay, so what we're going to do today and tomorrow is we're going to look at an article that is titled A Change of Heart About Animals. Can we assume what that's going to be about?
Crying animals.
About what?
Crying animals.
Crying animals? Okay, I think we can all guess what that means, right? But one thing we're going to look at is the author. Okay? Does this person actually know what they're talking about? And does this person have conflicting interests? Okay? Same thing. Remember, we had a big discussion yesterday about you kiddos are going to be 18 or are 18, and you have a bigger debt to society now. Right? Because you are voting. You have the power to vote now. Okay? So you need to be able to look at, for instance, a candidate's interests. Political interests, lobbying interests, personal interests, okay? That starts with a small activity like this. Alright? So what we're going to do, in your notebook, on your Google Doc, whatever you're using for your English 4 kind of documentation, you're doing that on this today because you're going to spend a lot of time researching this author. Okay? His name is Jeremy Rifkin. So, activity 4. In notebook, I will be checking tomorrow. I'm just going to mark you off if you've done your work or not. Okay? Research the author, Jeremy Rifkin. Take notes on what you found out about him in your journal and consider things like Rifkin's experience, reliability, past articles he has written, the title of his article, etc. Okay? I do not want you to Google him one time, pull up the Wikipedia page, and tell me what that says. I want an in-depth research of articles he has written. Okay? What are his interests? What publications has he written for? Alright? Is he a scientist? Does he know these things? I want to know all of that. You should be spending a lot of time, at least 30 minutes on this today. Because you are taking notes down. Okay?
Will his website be enough to get it?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, that's focused based on what he wants
you to know.
Yes.
Yeah,
so make sure you're looking at critical articles, what he's putting out. I want to see all the type of information. Okay? So I'm going to come around and help you guys figure out where to research and stuff like that. Any questions on what you're doing right now? Okay, Kyle, what are you supposed to be doing?
Researching this dude and this.
Okay. Are we taking notes?
Yeah.
Yes, we're taking detailed, significant notes. Okay? For instance, okay, obviously I'm going to get something like this, the Office of Jeremy Rifkin. Okay? So, what can we know about him right now?
He looks rich. Americans, economic and social theorist.
Okay, so he's an economist. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Economist? Economist.
I say both.
Economist. I'm not an economist. But I did take Economy 101 in college.
Okay, it's really showing.
I know. I passed. Okay, so Rifkin is the author of 20 books about the impact of scientific and technological changes in the economy, workforce, society, and the environment. Okay? Right then and there, what is the article called? A Change of Heart About Animals.
Oh.
This guy's an economist. Does that make sense?
No. He has a book about the beef industry, the cattle industry.
Okay.
I like
So he's done some other stuff.
Yeah, but I was like an outlier book. Everything's about now.
Okay, interesting. So then look at the claims of that book. Is he criticizing the beef industry, or is he... I don't want to know. I want you to figure that out. Okay? That's just on his own website. Now, if I go back... Here's obviously one of the books that he had that is really doing well because it's really high in the Google rankings. The Zero Marginal Cost Society. Okay? The Internet of Things, the Collaborative Commons, and the Eclipse of Capitalism. That's a very far off topic from animal rights. Okay? This is the kind of stuff I want you to be looking for, taking down. Okay? What are the articles? Here's an opinion article. Okay? So the rise of anti-capitalism, I don't know. Is he pro-capitalism or is he anti-capitalism in his personal opinions? And does that have an effect with the animal rights article? Okay? Those are the kind of things I want you to be looking at. Check this out real quick. I found another article by him. Are we okay in there?
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that.
Yeah. They're all a bunch of memes I found. I was into them. Alright, take a look at this article on the board, please. Alright, follow along as I read. What we need is a third industrial revolution. The second revolution was based on fossil fuel energy. It had hugely positive impact on the environment, but at the expense of the environment, leading to pollution of the entire planet and our potential extinction. It's rather a high price to pay. The third industrial revolution is happening in some countries in Europe and in the rest of the world. Hold up, okay? Look at the rhetorical strategies that we talked about yesterday. What is he doing to convince you, just in that paragraph? Okay.
Most people are doing it, so we should.
Most people are doing it, so we should do it. Okay, totally, yeah.
He's using sort of like a literary device to base it off of revolution. So if stage 1 and stage 2 have already happened, he's building on his topic by filling in stage 3 for the reader.
Yeah, he's making up a third stage by saying, we're in it now, we need to do it, it already happened. Yeah. Okay, now look at this. He said, the second revolution was based on fossil fuel energy. Do we still use fossil fuel energy? Do you have gas in your car?
Yeah.
Okay. So guess what? You're using fossil fuel energy. Okay, we're still in that revolution. That's still a huge part of our environment. It had hugely positive impact on the economy, but at the expense of the environment, leading to pollution of the entire planet and our potential extinction. Those are some loaded words.
Where's the footnote?
Right? For me to be like, our entire planet is dying, and we're all gonna die as a race.
Yeah.
Okay? Did anyone read criticism of him that he over-exaggerates or he uses scare tactics to push his agenda? Okay? That was something that I read when I Googled really quickly. Okay? So that is just one example, right? He's using loaded vocabulary to freak you out. And I'm not saying that's not true, because we are in, obviously, a not good situation with the environment and ozone layer, all of that. Okay, I'm not a science teacher. I'm sure you've been explained that before. But that's some vocabulary that is inspired to freak you out so that you agree with him. Okay? Does everyone understand how an author can do that? I can probably scare you to death by turning in your homework, by threatening something, by saying, if you don't turn in all your homework, you can't do the final assignment. That's worth 100 points.
Before
right?
the due date, zero everything out until they turn that assignment.
Yes. So I can easily do that to freak you out in order to get a response from you. That's what he's doing, okay? That's his MO. So when we read his article tomorrow, I want you to be looking out for how this guy freaks you out in order to get you to see his point of view. Okay? What's up, Daniel?
I'm dropping.
Just put it on my desk and I'll put it up. Thank you. Okay. So, after activity 4, which we just said, you're going to complete the discussion board activity. Okay? So either on your laptop or here, follow along. Aristotle's concept of ethos is about how the writer creates an image or impression of him or herself through the text, especially in terms of trustworthiness. Remember we talked about ethos as the credibility factor yesterday? However, it is also useful to investigate the background of the writer to determine whether the perception created in the text is consistent with the actual person. Okay, we just did that. So, for example, Rifkin's site says, Jeremy Rifkin, president of the Foundation on Economic Trends, is the author of 16 books on the impact of scientific and technological changes on the economy, the workforce, society, and the environment. His books have been translated into more than 20 languages and are used in hundreds of universities around the world. Credibility, right? Once you think something's in a university, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. However, another site says, critics of Rifkin have labeled him anti-science and a professional activist. Rifkin is clearly a controversial figure. Okay, we just discussed that. Discussion question. Combined with your research on Jeremy Rifkin and what you have just read, explain whether or not you believe Rifkin is a reliable author. Do you think he will have an agenda with the article you will read? Okay? What I mean by, do you think he will have an agenda? Okay? Do you think that he is pushing his point of view? Did he write this article in order to push his own agenda? His own vegetarianism, for instance? Or is he writing this article to be truly informative, to inform you of the food industry so you can make an informed decision whether or not you want to eat meat? Okay? You haven't read the article, but based on his background, what do you think? Okay? How many people are you responding to? Every discussion board, you are responding to at least 2 people. Okay? If you cannot respond to 2 people, you receive less than 50%. The best grade you can get is 2 out of 5. Okay?
Is discussion of a specific category?
Yes. They do. So go ahead and get started on that. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? So combined with your research and what you just read, so you should be able to include stuff we talked about, as well as your own research and your response. Finish, okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to work on a vocabulary tree. Have any of you guys ever done this before? Where you develop actual trees based off of word families? No? Okay, here's the reason why we're doing this. This has some scientific terms and things like that in the article, so I want to make sure we understand what they mean. Oh, Kyle. Headphones out real quick. Okay? So what you're doing... You're completing a vocabulary tree for each of the vocabulary words. Okay? So this is one group, humane and inhumane. Genetically wired is your second. And your third is empathy. Okay? So what you'll be doing, when you read a change of heart about animals, you'll need to know the following terms. We've been over that. Cognitive I took out because it's already used right here. Okay? Think about words that you know that sound similar to these words and may be related. For example, humane is related to human and empathy is related to the Greek word pathos. Remember that whole talk yesterday? Emotions also is related. Okay? You're going to create a word tree based on the root of a word from the text or one listed above. In this case, you're doing all three. Here's an example of a word tree for cognitive. Okay? So this person put together a word. You don't have to actually draw a beautiful tree. You can draw like a line with sticks. Okay? Some sort of connector. So this person did, the word was cognitive. So the words that have that cog root. Okay? That's what you're doing. So for the first one, humane and inhumane, what are some words you can put in your word tree that have the same root as humane or inhumane? Human, humanity, okay. Now, what's a word that you can put with genetically wired? Gen is the word, okay. Genetics, generation. You might have to look up the meaning of that word and be able to find other words that have the gen, okay. One of your standards for your senior level English class from the state and the country is that you should be able to recognize roots in words. Okay. What about empathy? Empathetic. Okay. What about
Sympathy.
sympathy? Okay. What about pathetic? That could work, right? It has the path. It might need something opposite of empathy, right? But it still is in the same family.
Pathological.
Pathological.
It's appealing to emotions is part of it.
Yes.
Pathological. No emotion.
Well, that's if you say a pathological liar. Or someone who constantly lies. Do we have any questions on how to do this? Okay, so bless you. Once you're done with your discussion board, remember you have to respond to at least 2 people. Start on your vocabulary word trees. How many do you need in total? Put up how many with a hand, everyone. How many? How many word trees do you need? I'm not holding up the right number, by the way. 3. Humane and inhumane is 1 tree. It's the same root words. Okay? Genetically wired is your 2nd tree. Empathy is your 3rd tree. Okay? Huh?
Cognitive?
It's already been done.
Oh. Okay.
If you want to do one and add to it, if you're feeling real fresh today, then by all means. Alright? You can do it on a Word doc and then submit it and just do like lines and arrows and things. If you want to draw it out and then take a picture and upload it, that's cool too. If you actually want to draw a tree that looks like this, that's fine with me. Okay?